Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is Michelle. How's everybody today? Hi, Coastline. Glad you could join us today. We will get started in just a few minutes. Thanks for joining us. Sit tight. Well, good afternoon again. Michelle Bainey here, and one last invitational for this season before we start the Mad Dash to qualifiers and then on to the regional. Somebody had a really interesting question, and might as well address it. So for those of you who are making it to the regional, the question kind of came up, does everybody have to be there the night before? And the answer is no. People can actually arrive late to the regional event. So we've had competitors before who were unable to be there on the first day, but were able to actually show up the second day. And that is not a problem. What we do ask is that we just be notified that this is what's going to happen, and that is totally all fine and good. So just kind of one of those interesting little unique situations that come up during the different events that we've had. I'm going to take a back seat for a minute and ask everybody to kind of announce themselves. I'm particularly interested in the schools, so I'd like to know what school you're representing and your name, and just so I get a good sense of who's on this call. So I'm going to hand it over to the first person who wants to speak up and announce themselves.
Alexander Parr from the University of Nevada, Reno.
Hello, UNR.
Stuart Morris from City College of San Francisco.
CCSF. Hi, Stuart.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Glad you could join us.
Wayne Kibbe, University of Advancing Technology.
Hi, Wayne. Glad UAT could be here.
Absolutely.
Ina from Cal Poly Pomona.
Hi, Ina.
This is Josh from Sac State.
Sac State. Awesome. Glad you could join us.
This is Rahul from UC Berkeley.
Hi, UC Berkeley. Glad you could join us, Rahul.
Thanks for answering the question I sent to you yesterday.
You're very welcome. All right. Next.
Alex Keller, Stanford University.
Hello, Alex. Is that it?
Zach Solomon with San Diego State University.
SDSU. Glad you could join us.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Hi, this is Doris from Cal State Northridge.
I was waiting for that voice to pop up. Hi, Doris.
I had surgery like 2 weeks ago, so I'm kind of a little slow.
Oh, well, I hope you're feeling better.
Hey, you know how I am.
Yeah, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
Who's next? All right. If there's nobody else, so I have a couple of announcements real quick. First off, the long-awaited invoices have finally hit my doorstep, which I'm so thrilled that I finally got them. There are just a few that are missing. San Diego, yours didn't come through just yet, and CCSF, yours didn't either. So I will send out to everybody else the invoices. Yay, they finally have arrived. So sorry. Again, just let me repeat, just because you haven't paid doesn't mean you won't get to play in the qualifier. This issue is really, our own operational issue, and so everybody is allowed to play in the qualifier in spite of this. You just have to have the other qualifications addressed. So yay for the invoices. Also, something that for those of you who are newer to the event, you may or may not be aware of, we allow visitors in the competition room during the qualifier. So you are allowed to have visitors come in. They're meant to be observers only. And they can, they're not meant to be there to, coach you now. So this is very different from the invitationals. The competition team is on its own. There shall be no assistance from the coach or anybody else. I do also ask that you, again, leave your technology, like your cell phones, out of the equation. You really shouldn't be on your phones during the event. You can leave them with the remote site judge, or just leave them in your pocket. Either way, don't be on your phones during the event. If you have to make a phone call because you're expecting an emergency or something like that, please step out of the room. You can come and go from the competition room during the event. So, I know that your rooms probably don't have bathrooms in them, so you need to be able to come and go at will. And you may want to make plans for lunch during the event as well. So just a suggestion, maybe order pizza in. I know one team that has a remote site judge who's actually providing lunch. So, wow, that's awesome. So are there any questions at this point about visitors in the competition room? And I hope that everybody has identified their room. Most of you are veterans, but we do have some newcomers to the event. And so for you newcomers, you do need to identify a room where you can compete from. You need to be able to compete undisturbed, and you need to make sure that you have internet access so that during the weekend, you don't have your network removed from you like we have had in the past. We've had teams that have had that issue. So just FYI. Anyways, and make sure that your remote site judge knows where your competition room is going to be. So those are my words of advice, because without a remote site judge, you don't get to compete in the qualifier. Any questions so far? Cool. Moving on. Other requirements for the qualifier. So this is my chief topic for today. I know we're going to move on to prepping for tomorrow for the invitational afterwards, but just a reminder that as competitors, you are responsible for reading the rules. We have them prominently displayed on our website. Well, maybe not prominently, but they are displayed on the website, and you can go check them out. We have both the local rules and the nationals rules there. So please go and read them. There are only a few teams that do not have remote site judge information submitted to me yet. And so if you are planning on competing, I need that information sooner than later. I only have a few more interviews to do before I'm done, and would like to make sure that everybody who wants to compete is eligible to compete. So I'll be reaching out to those teams personally if I don't have remote site judge information on hand shortly. And so then the other thing is team rosters. So as of 11:59 tonight, the team roster that's in my hands will be the team roster that I'm going to consider your final roster for the whole CCDC season. Unless I get a new copy in my email before that time or at that time tonight, then the draft roster that you've provided me is your final. For those of you who had a few issues with your rosters, I still need those fixed. And so just FYI, if you got an email from me stating that there were like email issues or missing information, then please address those and get that information to me, and I'll update your roster. Any questions at this point about rosters? Okay, so then the yin to the yang for the team roster is the fact that now you need to have identified your competitors, the competition team that will participate in the qualifier. It is a maximum of 8 players. You can compete with less. Again, my favorite stories are the fact that we had 2 teams that competed and won 3rd place with only 5 members on their team. And actually one of those, which was CSUN, started out with only 4. And then their 5th player showed up the following day and competed on Saturday. So yay, CSUN, great job. So Otherwise, and some of you actually already identified who your competitors are. So as of tonight, I'm going to consider that's your competition team as well, unless you notify me otherwise. So just resubmit your team roster to me with the changes, and that's the one I'm going to accept. All right. Tomorrow's schedule. Tomorrow's invitational, pretty much the same as the other three. Well, no, hopefully a lot better than the other three. Smoother and all other kinds of good things. And for you as well as us. And so we will open the phone call at 9:30. We will be sending out credentials for the Inject scoring engine tonight. And so you'll have your credentials when you come in tomorrow morning. You should be able to log into the Inject scoring engine right away. You will also be able to log into the Zoom call. My recommendation on the Zoom call is to try and post somebody to listen. I know we give some instructions, and there are a lot of questions that kind of come across during the course of the competition, and we frequently get repeat questions that we've already answered. And I know somebody said, let's try and make sure that those questions kind of get addressed in the chat room. And yes, we will try and do that. Oh, Alex Estrada from Coastline, no mic. Sorry, Alex. Yes, I'll add you to the attendees list. Thank you. And the question came up about the invoices. So jumping back to the invoices, sorry. The invoices are going to be for the $500 fee for competing in the qualifier. If you're going to pay with a check, then you'll need that invoice. If you're going to pay with a credit card, then contact me, let me know, and I will put you in touch with the gal that will take your credit card information, and you can pay for the invoice that way.
Cool, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Sorry about that, Stuart. Okay, so anyways, are there any questions at this point? Okay.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
So from the last conference call, I may have gotten the wrong impression, but I thought that because of the whole mix-up with invoices that we weren't going to pay a fee, but clarification on that.
So for the invitationals are free, but if you want to compete in the qualifier to move on to the regional, you have to pay the fee.
Okay, great. And then when is that fee due by?
Well, and that's a good question. Probably sooner than later. You know, I think it's typically like 30 days, something like that. So those invoices will be going out this afternoon as well, or this evening, actually.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Is the schedule for tomorrow the same as it was for the last invitational, with the call at 9:30 and the actual contest starting at 10:30?
Thank you for bringing me back on track. Yes, it is. Yeah, we will. It's a 4-hour competition. Start at 9:30 with the call. The actual competition won't start until 10:30. At that time, through the Inject scoring engine, you will receive your credentials that will enable you logging into the competition arena. Then we will go straight through from 10:30 to 2:30. We'll have Q&A and all. That work for everybody? If it doesn't, I'm not going to change it now. Sorry. James is on the call, so does anybody have any questions at all for James?
Hey, James, are we going to be logging in using the ESXi control panel like we did last time, or are we going to be using the other system that we used at the previous 2 invitationals?
Hello? Did I lose you guys?
Hello, James. The question was for you.
Sorry, it cut out. Can you repeat it?
Yeah, are we going to be using like the web interface to access the VMs this time?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Same web interface.
Say again, James.
Yeah, it's the same vCenter HTML5 interface that we used last time. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. That answered my question. Thank you.
Okay.
Who was that was just speaking? Who asked the last question?
That was Stuart Morris from City College of San
Oh, hi, Stuart. You sounded a lot like somebody else, and I was saying, oh, that person didn't announce themselves. So my mistake. Any other questions for James?
Will we have practice time in the environment for the qualifier? And when will that become available?
Oh, that is a good question. I will tentatively say yes. That's probably going to be through the NetLab still, though. I don't have an alternate solution for practice time yet.
Thank you. Will you let us know when that'll be available?
Yeah, I would expect.
James, this is Alex. A follow-up question. So if there is a practice environment provided, will it be a generalized environment for just practicing general sysadmin tasks, or will it be a environment that is looks something like what we would expect at the qualifier?
No, certainly going to be probably the invitational topology. I might leave the old and the new. What you call it, the current practice environment and the current invitational. I'm not building anything for practice. There's just not enough manpower.
Hey, James, you didn't finish your answer to Doris.
Oh, in terms of when it would be available, probably a couple days after the invitational. Actually, I don't even know if it'd be that long, because I think I have the NetLab set up for the current invitational topology, so it's just have to make a few tweaks. And then, so I'd expect probably latest midweek next week for the practice environment to be up. And I'll probably get topologies up and available, so you can check out whichever one you want.
Coastline says that the NetLabs do not work. And I guess the question I have for him is, what do you mean they don't work? Alex Estrada, what do you mean that the NetLabs don't work? Okay, so Coastline had a login error for the NetLab environment. Do you want to reach out to James for assistance on that? Oh, Sam says he can show everyone. You want to show everybody how to do it? That's great, Sam. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, if there's a specific issue, let me know.
Yes, typically if you have technical issues, you really need to reach out to James, but Sam Bone is offering some assistance with that, and he's suggesting everybody email him at sbone, and it's BOWNE @ccsf.edu. He's saying it happened because they ran sysprep on domain machines.
Oh, so you're talking about the actual images within the environment. Yes, so the old qualifier, I say, and it seems like there's only a few pods. Other ones were fine. There was also some time sync issues that I think I've got worked out. So hopefully it's a little better from this point forward.
Okay. Any other questions from anybody on the qualifier that's coming up? The need to get their final rosters and competition teams identified, or remote site judges? Any of that?
Will you send a confirmation email when you've received our roster?
I will. What team are you?
CCSF.
Okay, so I did receive your roster. I
Okay.
just received your roster today. So,
And is there any other information that my team needs to give to you besides the payment?
other than, let's see, do I have remote site judge information for your team? And the answer to that is yes, I do. So you're good to go.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other team want to know where they stand?
UNR here. I haven't gotten any kind of confirmation about remote site judge, so can I assume that everything's okay?
Yes, I'm sorry. You submitted the information. I'm just still in the conversation.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah,
piece.
I figured it was that.
But you're right. So assume everything's fine with your remote site judge, and if it isn't, then I'll let you know. How's that?
Perfect. Thank you.
We'll go on that particular basis. Anybody else? All right. Yeah, don't, Sam has, oh, hold on just one quick second, Doris. I'm reading Sam's little message. He says, if you're having problems with the NetLab, he can't fix that. So again, your first point of contact for technical support for NetLabs will be James, and you'll want to reach out to him at james@wrccdc.edu. Okay, go ahead, Doris. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Thank you. So can you maybe go over just the day of events for the qualifiers? So it's going to start at 9, not at 10. I mean, because now our invitationals have been 4 hours, but the qualifier is 6 hours, right?
Correct. Okay, so the time frame is just spread out an hour each end. So we will open the call, the Zoom call at 8:30. Not 8 o'clock, 8:30, and we will have an hour of prep time. During that time, you should log into the ISE, the same general stuff. You'll get the general preparatory injects that you will need to answer, and then we will start the competition at 9:30, go straight through for 6 hours till 3:30, at which time we will have Q&A with black team, white team, red team, and we will then also announce who the 8 teams that will be going to the face-to-face regional.
Thank you. I just thought because of clarification for new teams.
Absolutely. That works.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Well, any other questions for James? Any other questions for me? Very fine. What, Doris?
Thanks, Michelle. That's all.
You're welcome. So tonight, expect a couple of different emails from me. One will be the Zoom call information and your creds for the ISE. And then secondly will be an invoice from me, except for those few that I already mentioned that I do not have an invoice for you. Cal Poly, you will not be getting an invoice from me either. So just FYI. So there you have it. If there are no other questions, and if anybody doesn't have anything else they want to share, then we can enjoy the rest of our afternoons.
Thanks, Michelle.
You're welcome. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow. Good luck.
Thanks,
Good luck
folks.
to everybody. Take it easy.
Thank you.